Good afternoon. How are you, mate?
Yeah, going good, Dobbo. Great weekend of football. You know, it was weird though. Like only having the one game on the Saturday and the Friday, kind of got that football itch a little bit. You kind of there Saturday afternoon. You think, oh, I'll just bang the games on, but you just got to wait till the evening. But other than that, going very, very well, Ben.
Yeah, hoops. We'll get to you very shortly, James, because I worked with you on Friday night, and there was a lot to unpack after that performance. Hoops, how are you, mate?
Very good, Dobbo. What about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a good week. Everybody seems to be, pretty excited about the way this semi-finals is. Let's talk about last night, though, can we? It feels like, Roosters winning 40 points to 16 over Manly. The game started straight away with Kohler knocked out in the opening charge from Jared Hargraves, and then the next tackle, Jake Trbojevic, he went off to the HIA, and it sort of felt from that moment on that the Roosters were going to dominate, and that they did. Block, I'll start with you. Was it expected, that big a loss by Manly, and the Roosters really turned that first half performance against Penrith back around this week and showed that, what, they mean business?
Dobbo, I think you hit it right on the head, mate. You go out there mentally, you know that it's going to be a war. When you had a look at both packs, you think these guys are going to go in it. I think I mentioned it before the game that I think this is going to be brutal. Both sides missed the kick last week, the week before, and I thought they were going to come out and go at it. This game never ceases to amaze me. That's the first I've ever seen. In the first 30 seconds, two blokes get knocked out like that. I thought Jakey, when Jakey tried to get to his feet and fell over again, I thought, mate, I don't think he'll come back. Kohler, I thought maybe he has some sort of chance, but it worked out the other way around. 30 missed tackles at half-time from the Manly side. Look, I've got to say, I don't think they recovered from the week before in that war against the Bulldogs. Mate, if you go back and watch that, the Bulldogs were the best side for the first 60 minutes, and the Manly side struggled to get off their own line. They couldn't make any inroads, and it took, Daly Cherry Evans and Tommy at the back to put something on in the last tackle. They had the chance in their hand. They did that, and they ended up winning the game. But watching that game, I'm going to talk a little bit about mentally stuff now, and James will be able to come in on this. You lose two of your main players in the first 30 seconds, and all of a sudden that affects the whole team. You start to think, mate, we were going to come out and we were going to put it on the Roosters. Now we're two men down. Yeah,
it really deflates your blocker when you see your two teammates go down like that, especially your spiritual leader and New South Wales captain, Jakey Trbojevic. He did come back into the field, but you're correct in your assessment in there, Block. 6 days ago, they were beaten up by the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Their back three were manhandled. They looked gone. It was the genius of Cherry Evans and the play from the scrum that got them back into the contest. But they were beaten up physically 6 days ago. I think they'll be really disappointed with their efforts yesterday, Manly, but the credit goes to the Sydney Roosters, and they took advantage of that. But when you go into a game already beaten up, and within inside of the first 20, 30 seconds, you see two of your players go off, that can really deflate you. And look, Manly won't use that as an excuse, but I think it was a contributing factor to their level of performance yesterday evening.
You're spot on, Block. It was a bizarre start where not just from the players' point of view and what it did to the Manly Seagulls mentally, but inside the stadium, like it had been an epic build-up. There's 45,000 plus in the house at Allianz. And for the Legion of Manly faithful who'd made the trip across the Harbour Bridge, you could actually see that they were quite deflated because Tolu Kohler, you go back 6 days earlier, well, he won the game for him. When the game was in the balance and it was on the line, it was DCE and Tommy being prepared to take the risk and run the ball on the last. But Tolu was the one who come up with the magic.
Just with his speed, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
swap him for Ben Trbojevic.
That was it.
It was a huge,
it's
not a
players,
huge moment. Huge moment.
Well, the other thing too, your expectation, just go back to Ben for 1 second. He's preparing all week to play in the back row, I would imagine, come on and make a replacement somewhere in the forwards.
Well, he came on last week against the Dogs in like the 65th minute.
Yeah.
He was very late into the piece. So he's thinking, all being well this game, I might get a run in the second half.
Yeah.
Instead, he's
and
on.
And then they say you're on in the first minute and you're playing in the centre.
Well, he was almost like you could see him running onto the field and he was like altering his jersey, sort of pulling it down. He was shocked to be coming into the contest so early.
We saw a masterclass, though, from the Roosters fullback in James Tedesco. He was very good. And to have Radley and Jared Hargraves back in that side. I know Jared was involved, and I'm pleased that he wasn't charged in that opening encounter because there was some talk there that, there was an elbow. There was nothing in that at all. And so I'm pleased that. But, geez, they make a difference, don't they, boys, having Jared and also Victor back in that side. And Teddy just looked like he had so much more time and room, and it was elite last night.
Dobbo, can I just start on James Tedesco? Having that captaincy taken away and leaving out of the New South Wales side, the mark of a true champion is the way that he comes back. Now, you have a look at it. I don't think that his form this year has faltered at all. Now, it's just that we've got a lot of good fullbacks around at the moment. It would have been easy. He's an Australian captain too at the moment.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you're New South Wales captain, Australian captain, you've been dropped from the New South Wales side. And I reckon it would have raised a lot of eyebrows from the teammates too. Because, mate, he's our skipper. You know what I mean? And you start to think, well, what can happen to me? But the mark of a true champion is a bloke who can, get into some sort of, where people are dropping him and all the headlines. The scrutiny in the media now in our game of rugby league is high.
Last year he was criticised heavily for being allowed to go away to Byron Bay. He was given time off after the State of Origin series. He was criticised for that. He looks to me as if he's come back this year really driven. I think he'll be neck and neck with Jerome Hughes for the Dally M Player of the Year. And in yesterday's performance, especially when you look at it, the Roosters were missing so many spine players. So obviously Brandon Smith missing and the youngster there, Sam Walker. So you need your senior players, your leaders to stand up at the best of times in those big games. But when your spine is depleted the way it is, more responsibility goes on to people like James Tedesco, Luke Keary, who are the mainstays of the spine. And I thought James Tedesco in particular really stood up to that challenge.
I'd go as far as to say there's a handful, at least a handful of people that changed the game. I reckon all the fullbacks have copied off him. I reckon he was the first one that was bobbing up 30 times a game. And I reckon he was instrumental in the way that fullbacks play now.
Yeah, the play 4 into 5 in particular, to get that quick play of the ball, from my recollection, he was one of the first to adopt that strategy.
You often hear the champion players say, boys, that adversity is not the worst thing that can happen to you. And in James Tedesco, to your point, Block, he's a perfect example. He was barbecued after last year's State of Origin series. The Blues lost that series. He was the skipper. He went away to Byron Bay, was given time off. The Roosters didn't have as fruitful a final series as they would have liked to. Then there was all the questions about, is Dylan Edwards going to be the Blues fullback? Is Tommy Turbo going to be the Blues fullback? Teddy was basically number 3 in the pecking order. Then Edwards gets picked, then gets injured in camp.
Yeah.
Tedesco has to get rushed in for one game. New South Wales don't win that game. He's let go. The Blues then win the series, but his back half of the year, he has continued to build and just establish himself and resonate what a champion he is. The other thing as well, having Jared and Victor back into that pack block.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Jared is just the pulse of that side.
I reckon Victor Radley's nearly everyone's favourite player, or everyone's second favourite player.
He's a character.
You know the other thing, just quickly about Tedesco, and we sort of brushed over it and we shouldn't have. That was his 250th game.
Yeah.
Yes.
To stay on top for that long and still be recognised as one of the best fullbacks in the game, that's an enormous achievement. To get yourself ready week in and week out and still be explosive and changing his game and all that sort of stuff, it's a credit to him.
Well, the pressure from outside in terms of, and the origin pressure, he had pressure from within his own ranks. With
100%.
Joey Manu, Sualihi, 2 gun fullbacks there, and he has to rise above them each and every week. So it'd be a very difficult decision for Coach Robinson to make. But Tedesco's on his toes and on edge every single training session due to the fact that they've got some gun players that could adopt that fullback role. Can
I just look at Manly for a minute in the sense that did the injury to Tommy Turbo, did that hinder their run? I agree with you about last week. He wasn't 100% fit. We know he's got a grade 3 AC joint.
It was nothing to do with his shoulder, Dobber.
It's his knee that's causing the problems.
But the injuries that they had in the lead up, their form, they were beaten by Cronulla in that week before the semi-finals, and then to get up last week for that performance, and then obviously have to then back up again last night. They just look tired. Where do we define their season in the sense that, I mean, they made the 8. They went through to week 2. Has it been a success, and does it warrant also for Anthony Seibold to get that extension that they'd put on hold mid-year?
I'll start on Tommy first. We were just wrapping James Tedesco. What sort of a leader is he, mate? To go out there when he's got shoulder and knee problems. So to go out there and try and compete. The telling tale for me last night for poor old Tommy was he scooped up a loose ball and he took off. He made 15 metres upfield, and he got run down pretty quickly. And as soon as I seen that, I thought, you know what, this bloke ain't right. But he's a sort of player, and I mean, we've all played with blokes like that you feel a lot safer when he's out there, whether he's injured or not. Mate, we'll tipping our hats to James Tedesco. I reckon we should do the same for Tommy. Like, mate, to get out there and compete like he did, mate, you think about it. When they were behind in that early in the second half, he made a long range break down the middle, and mate, he just didn't have the pace to get there because of the injuries. But mate, as far as leadership and blokes getting out there and playing when they're injured, mate, I think he did a magnificent job. But the Manly side, mate, they were too patchy during the year. I mean, you can't expect to come to semi-finals and all of a sudden teams click on. If you have a look at what Manly did, it was, mate, the whole season was a little bit. They'd be up one week and we all be going, mate, they can win the comp, these guys. Best long-range try-scoring team in the comp. And then next week I'd watch them and go, geez, mate, I don't know if they can make the 8.
Yep.
So, I think it's worked out, probably the way that we thought it would.
There's no question, Block, Tommy took a hit for his team. And to your point, absolutely, you can see that the rest of the Manly Seagulls, Dobbo, they feel better. Like, they feel more bulletproof when Tommy Turbo is in that team. Even when he's only half fit, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, he's got to have surgery on that shoulder at the end of the season. So I think he'll be ruled out of playing for Australia. And then in terms of Manly beyond that, Blocker's spot on. They are so erratic at stages. Like, there's times where they beat the Melbourne Storm and they beat some of the better sides in the competition. They beat Penrith at Brookvale, and you go, wow, Manly are actually a dark horse here. Like, they can win the premiership. But you often hear people say that teams can sometimes be a reflection of their coach's personality, and I think that fits with Manly because Anthony Seibold can absolutely, we've seen it, he can take teams into the finals. He took South Sydney into a prelim. But then things can get a little bit erratic and a little bit unravelled at times. I think he's done enough, though, Dobbo, to your question from earlier. I think he has done enough to earn the right to win that extension. He's there next season, and then I think he gets 26 as well. That gives him good stability. I don't think there's any other clubs that are in the queue trying to poach Siebes, but he has done a competent job there at Manly, and he has earned the extension that the club will give him.
Yeah, just on Tommy Trbojevich, it's going to be interesting because he's offered to take that pay cut, which sort of indicates that he thinks maybe my value in this team isn't in arguably the most important position, which is fullback. So will he move to the centres going forward in order to keep him from harm's way when it comes to this repetitive injury situation? Because he has been hampered with injury for the past 3 to 4 years. We know what he brings when he's at his absolute best, almost the best player in the competition. So, look, we go back a couple of years ago where he had that hamstring issue, and you could just see he didn't want to accelerate. He was nervous to accelerate. I think there was an example where he just gave up the chase. Now, for me, it was his knee, nothing to do with his shoulder. The AC, there'll be many a player playing with AC injuries, but they are numb and you do not know you're injured. It was the knee which was hampering and hindering his ability to perform. I think Seibold will be safe for the time being, but that's one of his big issues, is to find out how this team can work with Tommy Trbojevich on the field, fit for most of the season. That is a big issue. I think as a season as a whole, just Turbo aside, they're a team, for me, when I watch them, they lack focus for 80 minutes. There's games that they drift in and out of. They start really well, and then they fall off. Numerous examples. Canberra at home, cruise control. They lost that game. Tigers, they were in absolute cruise control. 16-0. They somehow lose that game. The same happened against the Parramatta Eels, I think, in round 3. They have these games where they know that they're good and they get out to these leads, but they just
put the key on the rack.
It's a little bit, it's not as bad as the Titans were a couple of years ago, but they're starting to fall into that territory of being not focused, and it is just a lack of focus that they have once they get into a lead. They pull back and they fall off, and there's 3 or 4 examples there of games that they really should have won. And if they win those games, they're in the top 4, and I think they survive.
They're a better side with Luke Brooks. They're a much better side with Luke Brooks, and I think that signing in the off-season, a lot of people questioned it, but he played every single minute of every single game this year, so they got their value out of him. It's just, how long has DCE got left? That's one question. You would think next year, maybe the following year, but then what does life look like after DCE leaves? And that's where Manly need to be starting to prepare. Hoops, you watch this side closely, and you're right about Siebes. There's not a lot of other coaches that coaching jobs for him, but he did get his side to week 2 of a semi-final when they didn't make the 8 last year. So in any other club, they're giving him a big tick and saying, right, you get a huge pass mark and you're building towards the following year. But what does life look like at Manly in 26 and in 27? And that's probably where they need to be starting to focus.
Well, Jimmy raised a great point that when Tommy initially come back from that injury, we saw stories and articles in the paper about how Tommy's going to be a centre now. He's decided that...
Because of work, right?
And we'd done all this. They'd gone around the world and got expert gurus from right across the northern and southern hemispheres to tell them that, okay, in terms of his workload, it's going to be better for his longevity and the overall focus of the side if Tommy plays in the centres. Well, he lasted 1 game. And then he had to go straight back to fullback. I think there was an injury, whoever was playing there at the time, and all of a sudden Tommy was back in the number 1 jersey and dominating, right, and owning games. So I think that's a big decision for them because they do have gun options in that department. Lee Hopewadi is going to be a star of the future. Tolu Kola can also play there as well. So, I don't know, Dobbo, I'm not looking to 26, 27. That's a little bit getting the long-range periscope out and the telescope out.
But if you're going to sign them, Hoops, you're going to have to try and make sure that they've got a plan, and that's been the big problem with Manly in the past.
Number 7s are like hens, Steve. If you're any good, you get held onto, don't you? Yeah. Have a look what they did when we saw that young Humphreys come through. Played 1 game. Now he's gone to South.
Yeah.
Like if they were planning ahead and thinking ahead, surely because of the rarity of halfbacks now, surely they would have thought this guy might be the long-term replacement after Cherry Evans has finished.
Yeah,
maybe Cherry Evans has got maybe 1 or 2 good years left in him. So if Seibold's going to have a crack, he can't be thinking life after DCE.
No, you think now.
He's thinking about life next year, life the season after, like go all in and try and win one, because I think there's lots of teams that internally would feel they've got a top 4 roster or they belong in the top 4, and Manly are one of those. And that's the level of expectation when you've got the Queensland captain, when you've got Tommy Taburovic, when you've got Ola Kawatu, when you've got Paseka. Like this is the expectation with the level of roster that they've got. I think they should be in the top 4, and it's not necessarily a roster change. It's a change in attitude. When they've got the leads, they've got to polish. They've got to finish those off.
We're going to take a break. Victor Radley joining us next. Blockers in for Gordy this afternoon. This is the Sunday Sin Bin on Triple M.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M! This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PRO-SPA.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1-800-848-848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PRO-SPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsavers advanced hearing technology.
Steps through, parts the seas. It's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use. That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
Well, the hottest of hot party you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Give yourself a holiday boost with up to 10% off your next break when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Boost your well-being, boost your energy, boost your happiness. Whether you're craving a coastal road trip or rainforest adventure, Choice Hotels has over 170 locations across Australia and New Zealand. Plus, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead, book it with Choice Hotels. T's and C's apply. See choicehotels.com for full details.
Ready to kick goals on and off the field? You need Employment Hero. From hired to retired, it automates all the pesky parts of HR, recruitment and payroll. Plus, it comes with Smart Match, an AI recruitment tool that matches you with top candidates instantly. Imagine never having to search for people or post a job ad again. Join the 300,000 businesses using Employment Hero to tackle employment admin and get your business back in the game. Search Employment Hero today. It's employment solved.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Oh, welcome back. Triple M Sunday Sin Bin, all thanks to Prosper. It's game on for small business owners with Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Learn more at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. Blocker Roach, James Graham, James Hooper, Ben Dobbin with you for the next 2 hours as we work towards week 3, prelim finals week, where the Sharks will take on Penrith and the Roosters will take on Melbourne. Melbourne Roosters will be Friday night and then Sharks Penrith Saturday night. Let's talk about the Sharks' victory, 26 points to 18 over the Cowboys. They were leading 24-0 at half-time. And it was Braden Trindle that impressed me. He was man of the match first, second and third. When all the talk all week had been about Nico Hines and would he step up and would he manage this game, it was a bloke who is on a third, maybe even a quarter of his salary, who absolutely led from the front. He was outstanding, Block.
Not after the weekend, he won't be. I reckon it's a pretty smart move to move him on ball. A little bit of an elephant in the room for mine. Nico Hines, mate, I'm not so sure that he's not injured. I watched him going into contact, and I watched the game pretty closely, and mate, not at any stage during that game did he try and take the line on. He plays a lot of overs all the time. I'm not so sure that, and you can blame injuries and all that sort of stuff, but Trindle took over. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I thought Kennedy was great at the back. I thought he's ball running there, but Trindle, he was involved in everything. Can he have that sort of game? It was great to see him have that sort of performance in a big semi-final. But can he back it up again next week? I reckon the Panthers would have been sitting along with the Melbourne Storm with their feet up, watching the weekend's rounds, just going, we can't wait for these two sides to batter each other, and then we get to have a go at them.
Well, Trindle was the 7, wasn't he? Yeah. He had a 6 on his back, but he was running that team. He was playing half-back role. I think with Nico, you're probably correct. He had that foot injury not that long ago. He's only recently returned. That probably is still a bit of a factor. I remember when it first happened, they did predict he would be out until finals. He came back early, so no doubt that's still an issue for him. I thought Hines just did enough. He was okay. He wasn't involved in any big mistakes, which was probably pleasing for him. And hopefully that's the catalyst for more involvement in the coming weeks. But Trindle was in absolutely everything. That finish for the try in the corner, the way he held the ball on top of the ball, uncharacteristically, like, I don't know, you could hold a ball like that. It was a finish.
He must have some mitts on him.
Yeah, it was a finish like Xavier Coates would have been proud of. Like, that was sensational stuff from him. And the Sharks had to dig deep there because the way that game started, the back and forth nature, the Cowboys were coming, and then Reece Robson through the middle at the end. Like, the fatigue was setting in big time. But the Sharks, they finally break that hoodoo. So pleased for Fitzgibbon and a couple of friends that I've got there at the Sharks. I was delighted for them. I think in general in that game they deserved the victory as well, and all thanks to Trindle.
Hines' long-term deal at the Sharks, I mean, there's going to have to be question marks raised over it. You're right, Block. It was almost like he just sat back and he never took a kick. The first 7 kicks, Trindle kicked on the last. He stayed out of it. He wasn't playing on both sides of the field. So either he's injured or at the moment he's really lost his confidence.
Well, it might have been instructions from Fitzy too, just to sit back, mate, sit back, let Trindle run everything, warm yourself in the game, don't make any mistakes after you was rattled the week before. So maybe it's a bit of a stroke of coaching genius.
I think it's a combination of both. I think that he did have that bad ankle and foot injury, but then I think his confidence is also, you can see that just from his body language and his interviews in the media during the week, that it has taken a bit of a hit. And it would, because it's all encompassing the game these days. It's 24/7. There's so much coverage. Everything is micro-analysed to within an inch of its existence. And he has worn a lot of criticism over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Well, you know things are bad when you turn off social media and you're Nico Hines, don't you? So, like, that's the play of the modern day player is, I'm going to turn social media off. So he did that. In terms of Nico's game, you could see he was keen to get involved, and where you get those early involvements defensively in the opening set, he was involved in 3 or 4 tackles, which sort of has that mindset of like, I just want to get into the game. I want to get some body contact, and that would have settled his nerves. But for the Sharks moving forward, Dobber, you question like the deal. He earned that deal. When he first came from the Storm to the Sharks, he was one of the best players in the competition.
Yeah, I understand that, Gemma. I understand he won a Dally M, but, mate, it's $1 million and it's an impact on your cap. And if you're not going to actually... But he's got to stand up now and not being rude to him. He has to lead that side. $1 million players, they have to be the best player in that side.
It's not a question about the deal. He has to step up. Of course, he'd know that. But the deal was the right deal to do at the time.
Yeah, it was, Gemma. And look, he was coming off winning the Dally M medal. There were other clubs in the queue all interested in trying to recruit Nico. But I think, to your point, Dobbo, he does need to deliver. And I worry about this week, Cronulla up against Penrith. Penrith are so clinical and so dominant.
Yeah, it's funny. When I looked at that game before, they were smashed through the middle by the Melbourne Storm, the Sharks. You remember that?
Yep.
And mate, I think you'll find Munster had 20 runs in that game. They didn't go and shift the ball. They went straight through the guts of the Sharkies. I reckon Penrith would have watched that, and I reckon they'll come away with it. When you see, I always keep thinking back to when the Penrith Panthers played in the grand final against Parramatta. The game was all over in 20 minutes. When you had Leota, Fisher Harris going through the middle. Now, I've said it before, Isaiah Yeo is one of the best ball-playing forwards in the game. He's put that in the back pocket. You watch how many times he runs behind the ruck now. He's put his ball-playing skills, because they got Cleary and all those sort of guys, he's taken one for the team and just a ball runner. Now, when you have a look at him as a ball runner, and he's got a great nous for when to run. He reads rucks really good. He knows when to go, when to get in behind the ruck. Plenty of experience, but also a big man. Mate, he'd be 6'4", a hard man to handle. And with that nous and knowing when to go and when to read the rucks and when to go, mate, I just don't know whether the Sharks can handle him through the middle.
Well, the Sharks go to Penrith with everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And they did that against Manly 2 weeks ago. Manly, everything to play for.
Yeah, but respectfully, Jimmy.
Different sides,
no,
Gemma.
well,
but that's not apples and apples.
I know it's not. But there's for me, that attitude brought out the best in the Sharks. And you'd in that changing room, you start to cling to little things like that. And you go, well, hang on. The Panthers had a wobble against Canberra 3 or 4 weeks ago. So you've got to sort of build belief within yourself. Now, we know Penrith land psychological blows before the ball has even been kicked. And I think if I'm the Sharks, how can we disrupt this Penrith team? How can we get them out of that flow state? Because you're right, they come through the middle, but that's off the back of a grind game. The ball in play for long periods of time, back and forth, north and south, north and south. Like, I think if you're the Cronulla Sharks, you're looking to disrupt that as much as you can. Little bit old school mentality. If you play 4 and you're 40 metres out, maybe not the box kick, but maybe kick it in, just kick it into the touch. So that's your defensive line gets set, and Penrith are not advancing into your kick chase line with 15, 20 metres of room to work with. I think they've really got to consider how they disrupt the momentum and the flow of the game, make it ugly, make it scrappy, and then Penrith may become frustrated. Look, they're a champion side, and you'd think that they'd overcome that. But I think if the Sharks to get the victory at Penrith and shock everybody, they've got to disrupt the flow of the game.
There's no doubt Cronulla will embrace that siege mentality. They've had to for this entire finals series. Fitzy spoke about after they beat Manly in the final round of the regular season, that, they had come in for plenty of criticism, and some people had labelled them pretenders and that they'd had a soft draw, but they've only been able to play and beat who's in front of them.
It's not easy.
That's it. I think Fitzy's one of the best coaches in the game, Blocker, with the roster that he's got, to be able to achieve the sustained success that he has. He's had him in the top 4 virtually every season. He needed to get the monkey off the back in terms of winning a finals game. He's done that now. But I still have grave fears that Penrith at this time of the year, they are a ruthless juggernaut. They are tuned to the millisecond. They know exactly everybody's role. And Cronulla at a core stadium next Saturday night, I think that Penrith will just be too classy.
Well, if you're going to get the victory, you've got to frustrate them like that. Like, maybe
I like the kick early.
Go outside the box, get the ball into touch, disrupt the flow, pause, stop. Okay, are we all set? And even with the way that I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but the way the referees are going in this climate of they've put the whistle away, I think you've just got to try and take full advantage of that. And look, it's some of the. You're not cheating, but you're playing to the rules of engagement that are currently set by the referees. And coaches and teams will know that. The Penrith Panthers, they don't need to change anything. They do what they do in terms of their ruck control and especially on try line. But if they're the Sharks, I think you've got to go in with a bit of a
Something
plan.
Different, yeah.
Push the envelope as far as you can with the referee. That then therefore frustrates them and disrupt that flow, make it scrappy, make it messy.
We're going to take it back very shortly, but we are on YouTube. So if you are out there and you want to watch, just go and download Triple M on YouTube, and then from there, search Sunday Sinbin. We are live. You can write some questions. We're going to answer them after 1 o'clock. So any questions you want, if you want to know about Jammer and what product he puts in his hair, we will answer and disclose all of that as well.
Apparently the reason we're on YouTube, Dobbo, is because this has just come from Triple M's number 1 producer, Charlie White.
Yeah.
The hierarchy.
Every member of this team's position is under review. Ooh. So they've decided that they want to go social media, get all the feedback from people out there, all the rugby league fans that are rusted on.
You're partially right, Hoops.
And I'm told that there's one person in particular.
There is a review. Yeah, it's you, mate. Sorry. Elephant in the room. It's you idiot. We're going to take a break. Sunday Sinbin on Triple M.
Shut up. The foot is on Triple M.
This is the Triple M Sunday Sinbin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Hey, there he is. How's dad life?
Phil, I'm so tired, but it's the best.
All settled in with everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Switched my super over to Seabus too.
What's that got to do with your kid?
Oh, well, I really got to make sure this hard work pays off now. You know.
True.
Seabus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. To consider if Seabus is right for you, go to seabussuper.com.au for PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
When it comes to Sydney's freshest produce, Paddy's Markets, Haymarket and Flemington are Sydney's home of fresh food. Our traders only offer premium in-season produce, plus the freshest seafood, farm-sourced meats and poultry, plus a full international selection of premium deli goods. Make a visit to Paddy's this week and talk to a trader about what's in season and fresh today. Paddy's, home to Sydney's freshest food at value prices. Visit paddy'smarket.com.au.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1800 848 848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Cut through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsaver's advanced hearing technology.
Steps through, parts the seas. It's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use. That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Welcome back, Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. All thanks to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Visit prosper.com. That's PROSPA. Hoops, Blocker Roach, James Graham, Ben Dobbin with you for the next 2 hours as we unpack all things rugby league. And the big thing today is that we are live on YouTube. Now, if you just go and search Triple M and then it'll come up straight away, live Sunday Sin Bin, and you can get all the latest. Watch the show live. You can even write some comments. I do want to say to one bloke, and I don't know, I don't know, I think this might be Hoops' alias, but can you blokes seriously get rid of Dobbo? Legit the worst host this show has ever had. Bring back Maroon or find somebody else. Don't think I can stand another season of this imbecile dribbling. Sorry.
Mate, I keep him on. He's the only one that got me back on here.
Seriously, you can attack me all you want. I'm surprised I'm even here. Let's talk about a bloke that was very good last night, back in the side. His name is Victor Radley from the Roosters. G'day, Victor. How are you, mate?
Hey, lads. How are you?
Congratulations, mate, on that win. It must have felt good to be back and also winning semi-final football, and you guys are through to a prelim.
Yeah, it was good. It was great, mate. I haven't played a prelim in a few years, so I'm pumped to get down to Melbourne and be a part of the team. It's torture watching.
Victor, how's the body? Obviously, there was a lot of reports in the lead-up that you did have a scapular injury. Did you have to have a needle, and how'd you pull up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's a bit sore, but it's nothing worse than before the game. So I got through it unscathed, which is good. I was pretty stoked in the second half. I had my card in my hand to get back on, and then I think Teddy scored. I think Robbo said, "Oh, we'll put Lindsay on," and left me off. So it actually worked out well the whole game. So it was meant to be.
Victor, Jimmy Graham here. Congratulations on the victory. Obviously, you had that shoulder injury, but one of your first involvements was to hit a hole off the captain James Tedesco and go under the post. You must have been stoked about getting the first try for the Roosters.
Yeah, man, it was it was a pretty packed stadium too, and I kind of looked up and seen the Roosters fans. So it's nice to be sitting in the crowd. So it's pretty cool, man. I love that club and seeing the fans like that.
The Inflictor. It's Blocker.
Blocker,
How are you, champion? Good to see you, mate.
Good, mate.
Oh, good to talk to you anyway. I can't see you, but anyway, I like seeing you. Good kid. Hey, mate, the evolution of the game at the moment, right? You're supposed to be the great ball player, which you are. And James just touched on it. Tedesco going into dummy half and ball playing. Skipping on the outside, you hit the hole. Should be reverse. What are you doing?
Yeah, I haven't been ball playing all year, mate. I'll put that cue in the rack, I think. I'll leave that for Sammy, Kez, or not Sammy anymore, Kez, Teddy, let them boys do. I just want to be a kind of a battering ram. I wasn't back row on the weekend, but I've been playing back row, but took a leaf out of Bordeaux's book, how he used to play the game. He was just hard as nails and nothing like Bordeaux, but I think that's the way I need to play the game, that's best for the team.
Victor, celebrations would be short-lived after that victory last night, and attention turns to Melbourne. No doubt the recent record of the Roosters against the Storm and the Penrith will be spoken about in the media. What have you guys got to do differently in order to beat Melbourne and get yourselves a spot in that grand final in 2 weeks' time?
We just got to turn up physically. It's we got to be violent, be physical. The last time I think we beat Melbourne was I think Jared got sent off, but we don't want him getting sent off.
We don't need that.
Out there, and I think he flogged Nelson twice. We're just up physically. Then I ended up getting knocked out cold that game too. But it was a physical game, and that's what you got to bring. You can't just waddle down there and try and think your system's going to win you a game, especially in finals football. Your system's important, but that's not why you win finals games. You win by your effort and your physicality. So,
mate, Sandon Smith coming into the side scored a great try. What will that do for his confidence?
Yeah, mate, he had a 2-on-1 too. He wasn't passing it. He was keen to get in, but yeah, it'll be all the world of difference for him. So hopefully he's great for us again this week.
Victor, what about the influence of Jared? He's obviously been spent more time on the sidelines that he has playing over the last couple of months. But having him back in the side, and then we saw the impact that he can have on a contest just off the opening kickoff for the game.
Yeah, he's just his leadership all week. The way he talks to the group, the way he trains, and I actually didn't train much this week, but from all reports, it was pretty physical. I remember everyone messaging the group chat after our last training session saying, "Is anyone else saw?" I think it was because Jared come back in fresh and goes, "No, we're not mucking around here. We're smashing each other." So yeah, he brought that, and I think then brought it on the kickoff and just set the tone straight away. So it was good.
I'm interested to know when you talk about going down there and tackling Melbourne. We understand the Roosters, results in the past to Melbourne, but have you seen that game plan? And do you guys talk about that time that you had that victory?
No, we don't, mate. To be honest, we haven't. We only just played Manly, but I don't think so. I think it's more just continuing what we spoke about this week about finals games. The biggest lesson I learned this week was your system's important. Nail your system, but that's not what's going to win you the game. It's individually how we all turn up, and then as a team, being physical and going after it. That's why we're going to win. I don't think the team's ever just system their way. They've always been the most physical side for a winner in finals, I reckon.
Victor, just something a bit more light-hearted. The Roosters rap group. Can you talk to us about what do you think about that? Do you enjoy that being played in the gym? Is that going to be your walkout song up against Melbourne, or are you dead against that?
No, mate. I'm telling you, since Suwali when did Suwali come 4 years ago? No one's allowed to get on the speaker. It's them boys that are on the speaker playing their trash music for 4 years straight. It's almost got me retired, I tell you.
So you're
horrible.
So you're not buying the album?
That's what I reckon.
Yeah, well said.
We love that.
Go find out where they're recording it and just go and egg them.
Victor, best of luck, mate, for next week. Appreciate you giving us some time after that great victory last night. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sunday Sin Bin.
Cheers, guys. Having a good day, eh? So.
Good on you. Well done, Victor Radley. He was very good last night. Made a huge difference. Now, we're live on YouTube. Sunday Sinbin Live. Just search Triple M and go to Triple M NRL. We'll have it all there. There's lots of comments coming through. Lots of questions. Few personal attacks. Yes, I am overweight. That's okay. I don't care. Surprise, surprise. You should have figured that out earlier. This is the Sunday Sinbin. I call BS up next.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sinbin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Give yourself a holiday boost with up to 10% off your next break when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Boost your well-being, boost your energy, boost your happiness. Whether you're craving a coastal road trip or rainforest adventure, Choice Hotels has over 170 locations across Australia and New Zealand. Plus, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead, book it with Choice Hotels. T's and C's apply. See choicehotels.com for full details.
Ready to kick goals on and off the field? You need Employment Hero. From hired to retired, it automates all the pesky parts of HR, recruitment and payroll. Plus, it comes with Smart Match, an AI recruitment tool that matches you with top candidates instantly. Imagine never having to search for people or post a job ad again. Join the 300,000 businesses using Employment Hero to tackle employment admin and get your business back in the game. Search Employment Hero today. It's employment solved.
Hey, there he is. How's Dad life?
Phil, I'm so tired, but it's the best.
All settled in with everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Switched my super over to C-Bus too.
What's that got to do with your kid?
Oh, well, I really got to make sure this hard work pays off now. You know.
True.
Cbus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. To consider if Cbus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
When it comes to Sydney's freshest produce, Paddy's Markets, Haymarket and Flemington are Sydney's home of fresh food. Our traders only offer premium in-season produce, plus the freshest seafood, farm-sourced meats and poultry, plus a full international selection of premium deli goods. Make a visit to Paddy's this week and talk to a trader about what's in season and fresh today. Paddy's, home to Sydney's freshest food at value prices. Visit paddysmarket.com.au.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1800 848 848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Cut through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsaver's advanced hearing technology.
Steps through, parts the seas, it's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sinbin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Yeah, welcome back. Triple M Sunday Sinbin. All thanks to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Visit prosper.com. Hoops, Blocker, James Graham, Ben Dobbin with you. Gordy is out. He has the Gordon Tallis Cup in Townsville, so he's out this weekend. It is now time for this.
From the makers of The Earth is Flat and I'm only having one beer comes I Call BS.
Yeah, kit yourself out from head to toe with Ariat. Quality clothing and boots, comfortable and stylish from the outback to the office. Ariat.com.au. My good friends at Ariat, Pete Emmond, Terry Donahue, doing a fantastic job and a great product and big supporters of the Sunday Simbin. Just a reminder, we're on YouTube, so you can download it if you're listening to us and get out. You can watch this live. Just search Triple M and search Sunday Simbin.
Are we a chance of getting that Ariat gear down?
You know that
soon, or
you know that you actually know the answer to that. So do not try and set me up, idiot.
Give me the answer.
It's getting sent, unfortunately, to the place where you live, which is not my favourite suburb in Australia, Gaimea, and we are sending it direct to your place. You know that. You gave me your address this week. Hoops is getting his sent to his address.
No,
it's all been handled.
I give it to you last week.
What is it?
Yeah. It's just clothing.
Boots.
It's
Do
merch.
I get some of that stuff?
Yeah,
Would you
can
like
we get
some, Block?
Can we get
I'm just
right
a
around
hurry,
Block
just a
and
blow
Block?
in.
Well,
But
you know
I'd like
what?
some.
You know what? They'd love to give Block something because actually people actually respect him. I can't say the same for you other
You know
two.
what? Block
Anyway,
could be a new ambassador for them.
Block would be
could
an
new
amazing ambassador.
What's
He
the
would be-
gang? What's the gang?
Mate, they make
Ariat.
awesome boots.
They do,
and shirts and all that sort of thing. It's like country
Gross.
workwear. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And Blocker, if you've got any plans to gain or lose weight in the next sort of 2 years, put it into. Factor that in when ordering through Dobbo, because that's about how long it'll take
That's
to
not
get
right.
to you.
Anyway, I call BS, the good friends of Ariat. I want to start once again. Now, I touched on this last week when we were at the Week 1 elimination semi-final on Sunday. The kind of people that rock up. We were at Friday night, Cronulla versus Cowboys. Cronulla Sharks, North Queensland Cowboys, 2 teams. So lo and behold, I was in complete shock as I was walking out, and there's a bloke with a St George jersey on, and then his mate with a New Zealand Warriors jersey on. I'm like, hey, I said to Gemma, look at this. These blokes need to get a life. They're absolutely, who goes and says, I'm going off to the footy? You're either single, because no bird in their right mind would be interested in a bloke that goes and puts a jersey on. Like, seriously, get a life. Go to Lowe's, go to wherever, go to Ariat. Buy yourself a shirt, boys. You don't need to wear another team's football jersey to a semi-final. No one thinks you're funny. No one likes it, and I'm calling on it. Get a life.
Mate, I'll stop you there, Dobbo.
Dating advice from Ben Dobbin.
You are way out of line. You are out of control. I don't know what you're putting in that coffee up there, but I'll tell you what, might have a bit of Bundy rum in it. Maybe OP. Because, mate, I was at the footy last night, and it was the same story. I think you'll find when you go to Allianz Stadium, to get into the members, you've either got to have a collared shirt or a footy jersey, right? So I think a lot of people, they just decide that they're going to wear their club colours. I saw South's jerseys last night. I saw a West Tigers jersey last night, right? At the football. Mate, not everybody's on as much folding as you, right? And gets kitted out by Ariat and all your other ambassadorisers, right?
Or
So,
not
mate,
everyone keeps other people's clothes for themselves.
They just they go in what they can afford to go in, mate. So if they got the jumper there and it's ready to go, and it means that they can get in and they're showing their club colours, and away they go.
I understand if it's Magic Round. I even had what some bloke decided to attack me with Jammer as we were walking out about
good
this
reason.
theory.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yes, they did. They got into you. Well done.
Some bloke got into me as I was getting into the lift, and he wanted to say, and he said, look, I'm going to wear my St George jersey to Vegas. I even accept Vegas is all right to wear because, but every other week, boys, girls, men, women, stop being losers. Go and put you some clothes on. You don't need to wear another.
Mate, there's only one loser here.
Why would anybody want to wear a West
Tigers
Tigers jersey?
flapping
That's
his
the first
jowls
thing.
at the moment.
Well, Dobbo, maybe they enjoyed their live rugby league. They want to go. So say if you were a Souths fan, right? You want to go and watch the Roosters v Manly. But you don't want to be seen there because people would accuse you of being a Roosters fan. So you go in your Souths jersey.
Well, that makes no sense.
I'll give you another example, Dobbo.
People would go, hey, I saw you at the Roosters game. Are you a Roosters fan? No, whoa. No.
I'm a Tiger man.
I'll give you another example. I went to Leichhardt Oval yesterday. It was a New South Wales Cup preliminary final, right?
Yep.
Newtown were playing the Raiders. Now, there was a lot of Newtown jerseys and Newtown caps, and they had a merch, big tent set up there, and they were selling a lot of gear. But there were also, I saw Penrith jumpers, I saw Tigers jumpers. There was a variety of different gear. They're supporters of the game. They're fans of the game. They put their hand in their pocket and they pay their hard-earned. Don't put shit on them.
I'm a member. I'm a member of 2 clubs. I love the game. But you know what? I don't go and wear a Dolphins jersey to a Broncos game. I don't go and wear a Broncos jersey to a Roosters game.
I'll tell you what you are. You're Polly Waffle.
Whatever.
All right, dribbling.
Polly Waffle.
Yeah.
Dobber, look, I'd accept your point. Like, where I live in the Shire, I see a lot of Penrith jerseys. It annoys me that their parents don't tell their kids, look, you've got to support your local team. You don't support the team that happens to be winning. Like, maybe you could take issue with that. But the fact that you've got an issue with young people turning up to the games in their club colours.
It's not all young bloke. The bloke in front of us last week that was wearing a West Tigers tracksuit, he was the best part of 60. And that was where I took real...
Well, you got on him because he's shown support for his side.
And that's the one club I wouldn't be supporting at the moment.
You were a Cleveland Browns hoodie. You were in a different code.
In a different country.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, I've been to America. Oh, so what?
Was it a hoodie or a muumuu? It had a little bit of muumuu about it, that Browns thing.
It was a moo-moo. Okay, anyway, moving on. Blocker, have you got an eye called BS?
Well, I have. It's got nothing to do with rugby league, but...
That's all right.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Mate, I call
like
BS on pool shop owners.
Yeah.
You know what? It's coming on summer, and I get this little test tube, and I go into the pool shop, and they test the water.
Yep.
Right? And how do they know this out of a little tube of water? They go, oh, mate, you need 4 bags of salt, you need chlorine, you need some Stabilite. Mate, I walk out of the joint, it cost me $300. And I say to them, if you're going to rob me, put a balaclava on. Because I don't want to see your face when you rob me.
Yeah, you know what? You're so right. I made the biggest mistake of giving my pool guy, I said, mate, here's my credit card. Can you bring somebody in and test it all?
It cost you $500.
Mate, I stopped it after 3 months because I was getting charges. And then my father-in-law said, mate, just do it yourself. Test the water, do it yourself. And you can go to Bunnings, you can go anywhere and buy them. No disrespect to the people who own pool shops, but you know what? You've had it good for far too long.
And you know the other
too long.
disrespectful thing too? I come home the other day. You should have seen how handsome the bloke and his budgie smugglers doing me pool. I said to the missus, what's doing this place a glamour? She said, of course.
What are they testing? What are they when you take the little chip? What are they testing?
Test
the chlorine and the pH levels.
That's exactly my point.
Exactly right.
You don't know. They're testing me patience.
Have you got an eye called BS?
I have, yeah. Mine's rugby league related. So, look, good luck to Jason Rolls. He's got a tough gig. He's a new head coach of the Parramatta Eels, and they have got a big job ahead of them next season after finishing 15th this year. But I'm calling BS on the way that they're trying to spin this Clint Gutherson narrative where he's their captain. He won their Players' Player Award this year. He's one of the most popular members of that playing group. He has been the heart and soul of the joint for many, many seasons now. And to get him in and tell him that, mate, we're actually going to have a change of position for you. We want you to play a floating, roaming, undefined role in the middle of the field, possibly lock forward. Well, they got a lock forward. They got Jermaine Hopgood, and then they got Ryan Madison behind him. So I don't know how Gutho fits in there. Then to also suggest that he might have to play some hooker at the age of 30, having never played there in 200 and however many games he's played in the NRL, I find it bizarre. And I think it's basically just the Eels trying to put a different spin on that Gutho's free to go. When you read between the lines, that's what they're really doing there. He signed for next season, but they are clearly saying, if you want to have a look around, feel free.
Or is it the new coach coming in, the fear factor, I'll put it straight on the captain.
Yeah,
so everyone else in the squad goes, geez.
Block, I think there's a big element of that. But I think there's a big element of that. And then the flow-on effect of that is I think they're actually trying to push him out the door. He's signed for next season, but I think they're happy for him to go. Mate, I agree.
He's been playing
That's why I'm calling BS
well.
on it.
Like, he's been playing busted. He pushed
broken ribs.
You know, we talk about Tommy Trbojevic and the efforts that he's gone through to put his team first before his injury and just crack on with it. Well, Gutho stayed with that Parramatta team when most would have looked for the door for this season. They knew he would have known the season was gone, but he hung on in there, played through the pain. Yeah, look, I disagree with moving him on. I think he's the best option at fullback as well. Like, who else have they got? Are they looking to bring Lomax in there?
No, they signed a kid out of Penrith, Isaiah Iongi. And look, there are big raps on him. Yeah, he's been Dylan Edwards' understudy for a number of seasons. I think he's played about 58, 59 New South Wales Cup games. He's going to get first crack.
You seen
at
much
the
of him?
number one jumper. I haven't seen a lot, Block. He's only played one game in the NRL. So to me, when you just look at that whole situation, so they go and sign a young bloke. He's played one game in first grade. And then you go and tell your captain, mate, listen, we want you to move to lock, possibly play some dummy half as well. And we've signed this other kid who's going to come in and replace you. Come on, we've all been around long enough. We know what's going on there.
Yeah. It makes it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's Parramatta in essence at the moment. Jammer, you're I call BS, my friend.
Yeah, just on the people that have called out Jared Waerea-Hargreaves on the opening carry and suggested he leads with his elbow or there's intent in that. I mean, look, the people have said that he's been penalised for his foul play before, and that's true. But I think if you watch that carry back, like he's allowed to move his arms when he runs. He can't just run with one arm tucked with the ball and the other arm down by his side. He's making a running motion, and for me watching it, it's not an unnatural running motion.
He didn't raise his elbow.
And he didn't raise his elbow.
But everyone's looking for something from him. See?
Well, exactly. It's a reputation thing. It's a reputation thing, and I think anyone that suggests that is way off the mark. You can't go into a tackle off the kickoff like that, and there's clear video evidence to say that doesn't happen. It was just an unfortunate circumstance of the game, just like the Lindsay Collins collision with Jakey Tebojevic, a really unfortunate aspect of a collision sport that sometimes can happen. And there's no better person to execute perfect tackle technique than Jakey Tebojevic.
That's right.
And even people like him get it wrong from time to time.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree 100%. We're going to take a break, come back. Sophie Smith up next in the newsroom.
Thanks, guys. The Roosters will take on Melbourne Storm for a spot in the NRL Grand Final on Friday. Sydney crushing Manly 40-16 in a physical contest at Allianz to progress to the prelim. Coach Trent Robinson giving James Tedesco a nod in what was his 250th game.
You won't see any difference in him from week to week. Teddy just sort of, you guys get to know him, but underneath he's quite shy. He doesn't really say too much, but somewhere during the week he made a decision that was another level up tonight, exceptional.
Reigning premiers Penrith play the Sharks Saturday, and the stage is set for an epic AFL Grand Final. Brisbane to play Sydney at the MCG on Saturday after downing the Cats by 10 points. Ruckman Oscar McInerney will miss the decider after dislocating his shoulder twice last night.
He's just been so enormous for us. His growth as a leader from where he was 5 or 6 years ago to where he is now, and what he means to the team, just such a real pity. It'll give somebody else an opportunity, someone like a Darcy Ford or a Henry Smith.
Lions coach Chris Fagan there.
That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Give yourself a holiday boost with up to 10% off your next break when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Boost your well-being, boost your energy, boost your happiness. Whether you're craving a coastal road trip or rainforest adventure, Choice Hotels has over 170 locations across Australia and New Zealand. Plus, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead, book it with Choice Hotels. T's and C's apply. See choicehotels.com for full details.
Ready to kick goals on and off the field? You need Employment Hero. From hired to retired, it automates all the pesky parts of HR, recruitment and payroll. Plus, it comes with Smart Match, an AI recruitment tool that matches you with top candidates instantly. Imagine never having to search for people or post a job ad again. Join the 300,000 businesses using Employment Hero to tackle employment admin and get your business back in the game. Search Employment Hero today. It's employment solved.
Hey, there he is. How's Dad life?
Phil, So tired, but it's the best.
All settled in with everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Switched my super over to C-Bus too.
What's that got to do with your kid?
Oh, well, I really got to make sure this hard work pays off now. You know.
True.
C-Bus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. To consider if C-Bus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
When it comes to Sydney's freshest produce, Paddy's Markets, Haymarket and Flemington are Sydney's home of fresh food. Our traders only offer premium in-season produce, plus the freshest seafood, farm-sourced meats and poultry, plus a full international selection of premium deli goods. Make a visit to Paddy's this week and talk to a trader about what's in season and fresh today. Paddy's, home to Sydney's freshest food at value prices. Visit paddysmarket.com.au.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1-800-848-848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Sunday is not the day to relax because Triple M footy finishes the weekend with a bang.
Rugby league. We love it. Shut up. The footy's on Triple M. Stand up and applaud. Gotta love your rugby league.
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Oh, welcome back. Second hour, Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. All thanks to Prosper. It's game on for small business owners with Prosper's Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Learn more at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. Blocker Roach in for the Bull today as Gordy is at the Gordon Tallis Cup in Townsville. James Hooper, James Graham, Ben Dobbin with you. We are live on YouTube as well. So if you go and want to watch the show live, you can just download YouTube, search Triple M, and it's there. Sunday Sin Bin, it's all there. And put any questions you'd like. Let's talk about the referees. Can I just say over the last 2 weeks, the refereeing performance has been absolutely outstanding. And I say that because they've actually let the game breathe. It's brought some fatigue into it. There's been less repeat sets, 6 tackle sets. There's been less penalties. There's been less players put on report. The whistle has gone in the pocket. Now, we expect that in grand finals, and we've seen it at different stages at Origin, but through the course of 27 weeks, there's been a lot of nitpicking going on, and the bunker and the referees have been in the headlights for the majority of the year. Firstly, I'll go to you blokes to start off with. How good has it been? But why can't they just referee like this and police the game week to week like they're doing at the moment? It's a far better product when they're staying out of it.
The understanding of the six agains, the thing that really got me, and I'm a fan like everyone else, the ruck infringement. When you'd hear that over the loudspeaker, ruck infringement, like I'm a fan. I'm sitting there going, what's it for? I think every fan that follows the game would have been thinking exactly the same thing. If you can explain to us what it's for, why it's not a penalty, in the rush of the game, you can say, oh, I don't know, whatever, hands in the ruck or whatever it is. So then I'm watching the game and I'll go, oh, yeah, I get that if I see a replay or whatever. But they're gonna put some sort of spin on it. Let's be honest. They've put the whistle away. Mate, have a look at last night, for instance. I'll just give you a little example of it. Like we did the game last night. So the Roosters are the most penalised side in the competition. At one stage, the penalties were 6-1 in favour of the Roosters yesterday. And I'm not saying that Manly weren't infringing and all that sort of stuff, but how can a side be 6 times better and cleaner than what the opposition is? I don't really get that. I don't really understand it. You can't all of a sudden turn your discipline off.
You're right, Block, and Dobbo, you make a great point. Where has this been all year? Because it does change how teams play. Unfortunately, I think what will happen with the referees putting the whistle away, coaches tend to react. Especially coaches that think they need an edge to get a victory. Penrith, not much will change. In fact, I'd predict that they wouldn't even mention it at all. Like the way they defend their goal line and their ability and the small gains that they get from putting somebody on a east-west as opposed to north-south, and just that half a second that they gain there. But other teams they've not got the capability to turn that defensive tactic around in such a short period of time. But what they will go is, hey, we'll get our extra second by staying on a little bit longer. So expect to see coaches change how their teams play and how they push the envelope. The one thing that I've really liked about the referees in the past week or so is the slight head-high contact, or the
just being let go.
And players are playing that game of cat and mouse with the referee.
Yep.
We've seen a number of players stay down, wait for the penalty. It's not come. You get up, you play the ball. Same with the crusher.
And you watching as a fan, you applaud that, don't you? Straight away, I'm going,
absolutely.
oh, good, let's play on.
And some of the crusher tackles, like players will get their heads in uncomfortable positions, but it's not a crusher in the
sense of what a crusher is.
Why that tackle was outlawed. So we used to see players back up into the tackle, players almost leave their feet and crush the head of the player. I think the last one we seen was Kurt Mann this year. That was a traditional crusher. There's some instances happen this year that they're just not. And there was an incident in yesterday's game. I think Ola Kawatu stayed down. Everybody's thinking, oh, here comes the penalty. In rounds 1 to 27, I think he would have got a penalty. Yeah. But now in finals, it's not. It's far better to see.
Do you know what? You know the other thing too about the crusher? It's hard not to crush anyone. The bloke who's running the ball has got onus on not to back into the defence. As soon as you back in,
if you hit reverse,
you put yourself in a position.
You're vulnerable.
What do you want the guy to do?
Yep.
Well, it's on there is a responsibility of the defender to not crush the head, but sometimes if it's engaged by the attacker, like some of the head-high contacts, the fault of the causation of the head-high tackle
when Blake's a drop,
it's actually the footwork and players trying to find the floor or slipping over. The causation isn't the defender. So it's the same with the crusher. If the causation isn't the defender and it's the attacker's fault, it should not be a penalty.
I reckon you'd be hard-pressed finding any rugby league fan who hasn't enjoyed the way that the games have been refereed over the last couple of weeks, in that it's better when the players are deciding the results as opposed to repeated bunker interference, bizarre calls that divide commentators who've got hundreds of games of experience between them. But where it's Confucius is, well, we've played to one set of rules for 30 rounds, for 27 rounds of the competition, and now all of a sudden the finals are here and we've put the whistle away. The other thing that I find confusing is, in my opinion, Adam G's the best referee, and he doesn't feature in September at the most important stage of the season.
You reckon he'll get a start next week?
Well, I hope so.
Maybe they just give him a week off.
I don't know if they will.
Some sort of theory that they've crunched numbers and they've got KPIs and all that sort of thing, which scares you because they've got the whole laboratory thing working down around the referee's headquarters. But apparently he was giving a lot of penalties during the regular season, and so for whatever reason, now he's not featuring in September. But you go back to the grand final, and his performance was lauded as one of the greatest refereeing performances in a grand final.
Well, every stakeholder has a responsibility in this as well. So, I've spoke there about the coaches changing their tactics. One of the things the NRL came at the start of the season out with, and they were going to be strong on, was the downtown.
Yep.
But if I'm playing against Penrith or Melbourne this week, and I know the referee's got the whistle in the pocket, how can I make an advantage?
You're taking
what?
Off.
We're going to go early, lads, because you imagine the balls on the referee to blow a penalty for a downtown after it seems as though they've been instructed to say, put the whistle away. Like, it would be a huge, courageous call for a referee to penalise that when we've seen it go away. But if you're Fitzgibbon, if you're Robinson, I think you're telling your boys to get on your bikes pretty early.
We're all saying that we like it. But why isn't it the same in the 27 or 26 rounds?
That's the big thing, Block. And the thing about it is, Block, when you were playing, fatigue came in. Now, the interchange was very different at that stage as well, but the fatigue factor came in, and the best side came and shone. And you saw that even on Friday night, although the Cowboys didn't get home, they chased down a 24-point lead and got to 18, 26, points to 18. Fatigue factor came in, and that's where Reece Robson started to dart through the middle. And it was because the game wasn't stop-start. It was end-to-end. Jammer, we even said it in the call that there hadn't been any breaks and the middle forwards were starting to tire, and it was a different type of football and a style of football than what we've seen through the premiership rounds, which I'm like saying, I enjoyed the semi-final. Now, they are the better sides in the competition, be that as it is. But I absolutely enjoy that style of rugby league because it takes us back to when we were all kids watching blokes like Blocker, and where some guys got a second win, like it was always the little guys, it was a game for everybody, where now is, the big bloke, he'll do 20 minutes, then he goes and has a spell, and it just seems a much more enjoyable game to watch under the current refereeing standards at the moment over these last 2 weeks than what we've been watching.
Dobber, hang on. Did you say you were a kid watching Blocker?
Yep. I sat on the hill at Leichhardt with.
You're older than him, aren't you? Are you actually being serious?
I was at Blocker's last game.
And you were a child or an adult?
He was a man-child.
Yeah, he was a man-child. Who do you think referees the grand final if you had to pick it now? I understand everybody's saying Adam G, but it looks like Klein or Atkins, obviously, they are at the moment the two front runners. You'd think because they had those games. There was no mistakes that were obvious, so they're not going to rotate those referees, surely, if that's the way and the place that they're going at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point in time, Dobbo. We'll see what happens because we've got two of the most important games of the year next weekend, right? And if there's a howler in a prelim, well, whoever is in control when that takes place, then you'd have to think it's advantage to the other bloke. That's how they'll judge it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you just hope that they get through clean next week, and that
Also, the role of the bunker is important in all this as well. Look, we do concentrate on the match official, but and you could argue that they're in control in the flow of the game, but the players stopping and waiting for bunker interference, that's been a bugbear of mine, and I think it's been great that they've sat out on a number of key decisions that had the potential, like I say, in rounds 1 to 27, I think we're getting the bunker in the ear of the referee, and they're awarding a penalty for a player staying down, and they've stayed out of it. So, really, I'm going to congratulate the bunker on staying out and sitting out.
Would you take notice of your coach, the way that you played the game? I think I know the answer on my part. If he told you that, mate, you got to lay down for penalties if you feel like you get a look, would you lay down? I'll bet you wouldn't. I wouldn't either.
Well, you know what, Blocker? It depends. Depends where and when in the game that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need to,
I don't reckon you got it in you.
You've never laid down.
I don't reckon you laid down.
You've never laid down.
I'd like to think
that you wouldn't.
I'd like to think that I wouldn't.
Geez, you'd blow up at yourself if you did.
You'd be rocking in the corner the next day, overthinking it completely.
I'd like to think that I wouldn't block, but then in the heat of the moment, if you feel a clip and you need 2 points, you can see why people do stay down.
Oh, you can understand, but they're told to do it, aren't they? 100%.
At stages, it definitely looks that way.
Yeah, it looks
100%.
that way.
Yeah.
It looks that way. We're going to take a break. Sunday Simbin. We're live on YouTube. This is Triple M, all thanks to Prosper.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsaver's advanced hearing technology.
Steps through, parts the seas, it's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use. That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
Well, the hardest of hot, hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Give yourself a holiday boost with up to 10% off your next break when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Boost your well-being, boost your energy, boost your happiness. Whether you're craving a coastal road trip or rainforest adventure, Choice Hotels has over 170 locations across Australia and New Zealand. Plus, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead, book it with Choice Hotels. T's and C's apply. See choicehotels.com for full details.
Ready to kick goals on and off the field? You need Employment Hero. From hired to retired, it automates all the pesky parts of HR, recruitment and payroll. Plus, it comes with Smart Match, an AI recruitment tool that matches you with top candidates instantly. Imagine never having to search for people or post a job ad again. Join the 300,000 businesses using Employment Hero to tackle employment admin and get your business back in the game. Search Employment Hero today. It's employment solved.
Hey, there he is. How's Dad life?
Phil, I'm so tired, but it's the best.
All settled in with everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Switched my super over to C-Bus too.
What's that got to do with your kid?
Oh, well, I really got to make sure this hard work pays off now. You know.
True.
Cbus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. To consider if Cbus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M.
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Welcome back, Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Blocker Roach, James Hooper, James Graham, Ben Dobbin with you. We're live on YouTube, so download YouTube and search Triple M and then look up Sunday Sin Bin. It's live. You can watch the show live. Hoops is obviously a big part of this. He's got a mouthful of food, so if you're enjoying that, he's just decided to be a part of this.
Fancy you sledging someone for trying to
eat. Yeah, well, that's true. Take on the fun this footy season with Ladbrokes Same Game Multi. Download the Ladbrokes app today. Chances are you're about to lose for free and confidential support. There's gamblinghelponline.org.au. Our good friend Jared Timms joining us. Hello, mate. How are you?
G'day, Dobbo. A bit down today, to be honest. I'm a Sea Eagles fan, so our season Dunsky.
Yeah, more than Dunskies. It's buried. Done. So anyway, well, now there's 4. Can you give us an update on the market for the first prelim next weekend? That'll be the Melbourne Storm taking on the Roosters.
Yeah, what game this one's going to be, Dobbo. Certainly if the Roosters can muster something like they did against the Sea Eagles last night, they'll certainly need to down there in Melbourne. Look, as it stands, though, the Ladbrokes bookies, they're pretty keen on the Storm here. They've gone up $1.30 favourites in match betting. There might be a bit of value on offer for the Roosters faithful again, $3.60. The line is 9.5 points.
The second prelim, Timsy, can the Panthers make it another grand final, or what's the market saying about the Sharks?
Yeah, chasing that 4-peat Hoops. Wow, a very good chance for it here, clearly, as well. They've gone up $1.25 favourites to win this second prelim. The Ladbrokes bookies clearly thinking the Sharks might have played their grand final this weekend. They are a $4 chance to beat the Panthers, and the line is 12 points even.
Jared, looking 2 weeks ahead to the first Sunday in October. What is that NRL Premiership market looking like?
Well, those two match markets, Jimmy, well and truly telling the story here at Ladbrokes. The Panthers are $2.30 favourites to win another premiership here at Ladbrokes. $2.40 about the Storm, and a big gap to the rest of them here. The Roosters are a $9 chance, and the Sharks, $9.50.
Take on the fun this footy season with the Ladbrokes Same Game Multi. Download the Ladbrokes app today. Chances are you're about to lose for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Jared Timms, we'll talk to you next week, mate.
Thanks, Dobbo. Good luck, punters.
Well done. Thank you, Jared Timms. Blocker, James Hooper, James Graham, Ben Dobbin with you. This is the Sunday Sin Bin. Let's talk Cowboys, can we? And there's a lot of criticism coming towards them today. Beaten on Friday night. They have 6 Origin players, the most in the NRL, and with a roster that like they've got, I understand they didn't make the 8 last year, but do you think that they underperform this season considering that they haven't made a prelim and some of the calibre of players that they've got. I'll start with you, Block.
I think they're a bit like Manly. Very hot and cold this season, weren't they? I looked at that game on the weekend. They started all right, but I couldn't believe how passive their right-hand defence was. Every time the Sharks went down there, they created opportunities. I honestly think that the scoreboard probably flattered them. Had they been able to create a couple of more opportunities and score tries, that could have blown right out. Mate, I'll tell you, a bloke I was a little bit disappointed in. I'm a big fan of Drinkwaters, right? But what I will say about him now coming into the big games and the semi-finals, what I've noticed about him, if you're 20 in front, you'll win by 40. If you're 10 behind when you need him, I don't know. I don't like to bag him. I think he's a great player. I think he's an energetic player. He gets up and about. But when you compare him to the real great players, and you have a look at the blokes like Tedesco and all those sort of guys, Edwards, always in the game for the 80 minutes, always trying to create something. I just thought they let themselves down a little bit. A couple of times we saw the hooker go straight through. Where's the support? Where is it? They're standing back on their heels, waiting for something to happen, waiting for the next play, rather than playing the play that's been played.
Yeah, for me, a really disappointing aspect of the Cowboys' performance is that they were going set for set in the grind with the Cronulla Sharks, and then the Sharks got that bit of a break, a last play option where Trindle was taken out. They get a penalty try, which I think actually the Cowboys would have taken in terms of you either
the 10
lose.
minutes in the bin.
You'd prefer we just concede the 6 as opposed to lose Ruben Cotter for the next 10 minutes. But then, so you get away with that in a sense, but then you want a bit of fight after that. And they didn't. They actually conceded in their next set of 6. So you go, try, concede, kick off, try, concede again. And it was, look, I know fatigue was high later in the game, but that was still in the sort of the 10 to 15 minute period of the game. And I think fatigue caught up with the Cowboys. They looked fatigued from their game against Newcastle. That was a contest where both teams ran over 2,000 metres. And then you look at where fatigue catches up with you is you do the little things like, especially in finals, you do tie in. And you make those efforts and you close gaps.
Kick,
but
chase for marker, all those sort of things.
And they were doing those things, but they just clocked off at the last moment. So I think there was 3 tries from kicks the Sharks scored to start that game, and they were all off like contestable balls. So you watch that, the middle forwards, the edge forwards, last play happens, and they just stop. And the same happened to the Bulldogs the week before when Hopewarte went up, caught the ball, and he finds Bullymore. Now, that's the difference between good teams and great teams. So on last play as a middle forward, you put your pressure on, but if you're not involved with that, you go back and you wait until we've got the ball. It's not your back three's job. And unfortunately, the Cowboys got found out a little bit, and I think it was just pure fatigue catching up with them.
Yeah, if we talk about competitors, mate, have a look what the 2 captains, and Cotter. Look, Cotter's gotten better and better, mate. He's not just a workhorse. You see his footwork in and around the ruck and all that sort of stuff. Like, mate, he's a super player. And mate, that's why I but talked about Drinkwater. And when you have a look at your 2 captains going like that, and you're won games, now the expectation is on Drinkwater to play well every week, I think, right? And I just think, and mate, I think he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But the effort should have been there a little bit more like Cotter and Dearden.
No doubt about it, Block. They're a confident side. And when you look at who's coaching the side, Todd Payten, he won a premiership with the West Tigers 2005 and cut his teeth predominantly as a player playing under Tim Sheens. I think there's lots of coaching philosophies that Todd Payten has taken that he's learned from Tim Sheens and he is still using in today's modern game. And with the Cowboys, they're a confidence team. So when they're on the front foot, they're throwing it around, they're playing expansive, they're taking risks. They can blow sides off the park. But then in a gritty finals encounter like it was meant to be on Friday night, they lost their compass. They weren't at the races to begin with. I don't know if it was as a result of the game last week and your point, Jimmy, about the fact that they had run a hell of a lot of distance, or it was just that when it came to executing, everything they tried failed. And everything that the Sharks touched turned to goal.
Well, they want to get into a shootout. And what I mean by that is that
What, 26-24, they want to play a game like that.
Yeah. They don't want to grind their way to a victory. For the Cowboys, watching them all year pretty closely, is that their intensity in attack is up. Every player looks excited when they've got the ball. A lot of people in that team want the ball, which is great. The other side of the ball, though, it doesn't seem like they're as interested and enthusiastic about defending. And that's been a common trait for them. I don't think I'm being unfair in my assessment of the Cowboys defensively. They don't seem as enthusiastic when they don't have the ball, but when they've got the ball, many players want it. But that other side of the game, which is so important,
which is the tough part of the game too.
Yeah.
When you have a look at great players, when you talk about great players, they can do both. You know, good players, you know, it's great attacking players, but when it comes to defending, you know, sometimes they don't want to really get involved with it. Mate, you got to want to. Mate, tackling is all about want and will.
You got to be enthusiastic about it. You got to want to defend.
That's right.
You got to have that will to defend.
But
and
if
move
your mindset is thinking, mate, we're a great attacking side. We can win 36-26.
Exactly.
50% of the game's defence too,
100%.
so it's one of the fundamentals. Is it a failure, Dobbo? Look, I think they'll see it as a missed opportunity because on paper, that side that the Cowboys ran out Friday night, they should have beaten that Sharks team. The Sharks were vulnerable, but it was the fact that Cronulla out-enthused them early, made their own luck off kicks and the penalty try.
And Trindle playing out of his skin.
Absolutely. Yeah. Put scoreboard pressure on, and the Cowboys weren't able to come up with the answers. They were in the game well into proceedings. Like, I think when Robson made that break, did Drinkwater overrun that ball and the pass ended up going to ground?
Like he
didn't was out to the left. They were still very much in that contest. But so they'll view it, no doubt, as an opportunity lost. Is it a failure? Yeah, look, when you look at the roster and the amount of Origin players that are in there, they probably should have made it through.
What does
final.
Origin do to you too? If you've got the most number of players in the Origin arena, when you come back and you have a flat spot for sure for 4 weeks. So if you've got the most number of Origin players, surely it's going to be difficult to come back.
History shows absolutely, Block. You're 100% right. But I reckon if I'm a coach, I'd still rather have more Origin players than not as many because you know that you got the elite of the elite.
It's a problem you'd want. I think, looking at the assessment of the season, there's no doubt Penrith, Storm, Roosters, top three in terms of on paper. I think everybody accepts that. And then you've got a cluster of teams that are challenging for that fourth spot.
That can win on their day.
And the Cowboys would have been in the conversation for that, like with your Manleys, with your Cronullas that have actually taken that. Maybe the Bulldogs came into that conversation a little bit later in the piece.
Yep.
But the Cowboys would have said, we are that other top four team. And then therefore, I think they would conclude it's a disappointment.
They lose Fini Fuiaki to the Dolphins, who was very good. Nanai clearly was injured on Friday night because, at halftime he'd run for three metres, I think.
What was wrong with him?
Shoulder.
Big thing there, Dobbo, is if you put yourself out there, you come under criticism.
I agree. I agree, Block. I agree. But Fini Fuiaki, when he came on, he was very good in that second half. He goes to the Dolphins. Holmes will go to St. George. Kyle Felt obviously retiring, and obviously Chad Townsend not part of that.
The back rower too. Is that Ricky? Is it Ricky?
Lukey.
Sorry,
Lukey.
I get them mixed up.
Yep.
Lukey. Now he got a lot of accolades a couple of weeks coming into that semi-finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And mate, it seemed to me like he might have been listening to all the publicity rather than getting on with playing the way that everyone was talking about him. Right?
Yep.
Sometimes you get tied up in getting the pat on the back. And all of a sudden, the game's gone past you if you start believing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, to me, he was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, he wasn't anywhere near where he has been. The week before, he was outstanding. Look, they've got some young Labert. They've got a young half as well coming through, but they probably are light on middle forwards. That's probably where, and their defence is probably where they need to look.
And Griffin Neame.
Yeah, they're just
what's the plan, Dobbo? They're losing a lot of experience there in the outside backs with Holmes going and Felt retiring. What's the plans there? They're bringing through the next generation. It's Labert.
There's a young bloke who did his knee, young Labert, who did his ACL at the start of the season, and he was just elite. And he's a very good footballer. So they're pretty much they're rotating. It's a youth policy that they're bringing in, and obviously. I think Jake Clifford will probably get the 7. His kicking game, Jammer, was very good. he was in and out. He was very good at the back end. And look, maybe that is the halves combination. Dearden's a superstar.
It is, but again, I think if I'm looking at the Cowboys, or if I'm in the dressing room there, or you're part of the staff, you're in the building, it's defensively. The combination of Clifford and Dearden, you know that team has got points in them. You know Drinkwater's going to create opportunities. With the edge strike on the back row of Nanai and Lukey, you know they're going to get points. We know Robson is going to run from dummy half and cause stress to other middle defenders. But it's the other side of the ball that they need to work on. Like they've got to have a bit more resilience and perseverance with the defensive aspect, not just sort of tap a bit early and say, oh, well, you know what, we'll just get the ball back and score. Or like I say, I think where they were found out against the Sharks was that the 3 opening tries for the Sharks, or 3 of the 4 opening tries in that first half, were all last tackle plays.
Clocked off.
And that
kicks.
Yeah. So, and what does that say? You've just got to get numbers in the picture. Cotter actually did it on the other side of the ball against Newcastle. But defensively, you just got to keep moving, put yourself there just in case. And that could be the difference. I thought, at 24 points, it was a mountain too high to climb in the end. But if they'd have worked a little bit harder on 1 or 2 of those occasions, that mountain's a little bit smaller.
You did right. We're going to take a break. Sunday Sin Bin on Triple M.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M.
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
When it comes to Sydney's freshest produce, Paddy's Markets, Haymarket and Flemington are Sydney's home of fresh food. Our traders only offer premium in-season produce, plus the freshest seafood, farm-sourced meats and poultry, plus a full international selection of premium deli goods. Make a visit to Paddy's this week and talk to a trader about what's in season and fresh today. Paddy's, home to Sydney's freshest food at value prices. Visit paddysmarkets.com.au.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1800 848 848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Cut through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsavers Advanced Hearing Technology.
Steps through, parts the seas. It's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use. That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Give yourself a holiday boost with up to 10% off your next break when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Boost your well-being, boost your energy, boost your happiness. Whether you're craving a coastal road trip or rainforest adventure, Choice Hotels has over 170 locations across Australia and New Zealand. Plus, you'll get the lowest price guaranteed when you book direct at choicehotels.com. So go ahead, book it with Choice Hotels. T's and C's apply. See choicehotels.com for full details.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M.
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Welcome back, Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. All thanks to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Visit prosper.com. Blocker Roach, James Graham, James Hooper, Ben Dobbin with you. And look, big weekend of prelim finals next weekend. Friday night, Roosters taking on Melbourne. Saturday night, it will be the Sharks taking on Penrith. You'll hear both those games right here on Triple M. We're live on YouTube, so you can download YouTube, search Triple M and Sunday Sin Bin. You can catch the show live as it's happening as well. Let's talk a little bit of rugby league news. Can I just say, Kyle Feld's going to St Helens. I may have said he was retiring from the NRL. I just want to clarify that. He's going to Super League overseas to St Helens. So
you're not may have said, you did say it.
Well, let's not go.
Wow. Dobber,
we retired Kyle Felt.
Are you going to start rectifying your mistakes?
When you do.
This could be a long program.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
When you do, you idiot. Now, can we just please talk about a little bit of news? Josh Schuster confirmed he will go and obviously to South Sydney next year. Wayne Bennett's got a plan for him. He said to me that he believes he'll be in that 17 to start off with if he has the preseason. Block, do you like this pick?
If I was going to do something and I was Schuster and I still wanted to play rugby league, I'd do one of two things. Number one would be go down to Melbourne and try and get a start there and do their horrific off-season and see if I can make the 17 there. Number two would be go to South Sydney with Wayne Bennett. I think he's made the right move. But there is no doubting this bloke's ability. I haven't seen as good a ball player in the forwards for a long, long time, the things that he can do. But unfortunately, he doesn't do it enough. And what we're talking a little bit before about doesn't even register to him defence. So the first thing he's got to fix, obviously, is get himself in good enough nick. Now, I think Wayne Bennett can get inside his head and get him to get himself fit. And as I said, the other thing I would have done, I would have tried to get to Melbourne and tested myself there. But I think it'll be a huge success. I think if anyone can get him going with the ability that guy's got, I think it'll be Wayne Bennett.
Yeah, he's got to apply himself in the training ground, but also away from it. I've been around, a number of teammates that, they work super hard when they're at the training facility, but then there's the other side of getting that preseason right, is making those decisions away. And in terms of what you eat, what you don't eat, all those sorts of things, those decisions that you have to make. But just in terms of Josh Schuster coming in, he's not on a big deal. So in terms of financially, so even if he doesn't play, it's not we've signed this person on $500,000-$600,000 and he's sitting in reserve grade. If he doesn't get right, it's not a massive cost.
What do you tip? Do you reckon he's got it in himself to dig down? It's probably his last chance.
Well, if he doesn't block, what did Wayne Bennett do with Val Tafare this year? He said, "You come back to this training ground when you're under this weight."
Yeah.
So that's what he did. So Wayne's done it before. So he'll do it again. If Josh Schuster doesn't get in line, Wayne will tell him to go and train on his own until he comes back to the metrics that Wayne decides is acceptable and not.
The fact that he's prepared Block to sign for minimum wage, so I think he's only on about 140 grand, which in the modern game is as little of an amount as you can be on. If he plays X amount of games, then I'm sure there are additional financial incentives written in to the deal. But the fact that he's backed himself and he's gone from
it's a test of a man,
$800,000 a year per season times 4 guaranteed at Manly, he's walked away from that. He's done some work on himself. I think he is still hungry, and there's no question to your point from earlier. He is so naturally gifted. What he can do with the football and his vision and what he can see and what he can execute, it is absolutely top shelf.
How old is he, Hoops?
Oh, mate, I reckon he's 22 or 23. He's young, mate.
He's young.
Very young.
Maybe he could get to that stage now where he does actually jerries.
I think Wayne will be the best thing for him because he's shown throughout the course of his coaching career that if there are players who might have struggled, Jamie Soward's one who springs to mind. He gets them in, he gets in their heads, don't carry your divots, and he just sharpens them up and then teaches them all the little effort areas of the game.
And gets them fit.
Yes, and gets them super fit.
He's got to get fit, and where Josh Schuster sits on the roster list, we're probably talking player 25 to 30.
Yes.
So if Wayne can take a player who's on the roster list at 25 to 30, forget the name, whoever it is, if he can turn them into a player that plays in the 17 every week, it's an absolute bargain. These are the little advantages that coaches get when they look at their squad. How to get one of those roster players in that 25 to 30, playing each and every week. I think for me, Josh Schuster might find himself on the bench for Souths and coming on as either a little bit of X factor or a 14, a person that can slot into a number of positions, can play in the middle, can play on an edge, potentially could play at 5'8" as well. But what he needs to get right is his attitude and his fitness.
Not a bad roster if Addo Carr can end up. Where does he end up?
I think Addo Carr, in all likelihood, Block, I think the Bulldogs will part ways.
Yes,
I think he'll end up at St George Illawarra with Shane Flanagan.
Is that right?
Yep.
So, St George have just sacked, obviously, their CEO, and it's being reported today by Buzz that Peter Parr has been linked to that role as well, which he's an unbelievable football mind as well. So, I mean, they've got Val Holmes, they've got Damien Cook there. If they can get Josh Addo Carr there as well, I mean,
they got money to spend. I think they've got to be at $1.7 million.
Has South got any fat?
No,
he might end up at South.
Souths wouldn't be able to accommodate Josh unless they shifted somebody else on who was on reasonable money or he took a cut price deal.
Can I just also say, in rugby league news, well done to Fox and Fox Sports today. They'll be covering the Queensland Cup final exclusively on TV. You'll see that from 5:30 this afternoon. Ben Teo, who's a part of the Triple M family, coaching the Dolphins against the North Devils. So Valance Tavare, who is still without a club next season, he's playing for Redcliffe. And it speaks, the Dolphins, that both their feeder sides are Norths and Redcliffe. So the future is bright with the Dolphins. That they're hosting the grand final. Well done to Fox, who'll be covering that game. You'll see it live and exclusively on Fox Sports. We're going to take a break, come back. Mitsubishi Triton's toughest player up next. This is the Sunday Sin Bin.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Ready to kick goals on and off the field? You need Employment Hero. From hired to retired, it automates all the pesky parts of HR, recruitment and payroll. Plus, it comes with Smart Match, an AI recruitment tool that matches you with top candidates instantly. Imagine never having to search for people or post a job ad again. Join the 300,000 businesses using Employment Hero to tackle employment admin and get your business back in the game. Search Employment Hero today. It's employment solved.
Hey, there he is. How's dad life?
Phil, I'm so tired, but it's the best.
All settled in with everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Switched my super over to C-Bus too.
What's that got to do with your kid?
Oh, well, I really got to make sure this hard work pays off now. You know.
True.
C-Bus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. To consider if C-Bus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
When it comes to Sydney's freshest produce, Paddy's Markets, Haymarket and Flemington are Sydney's home of fresh food. Our traders only offer premium in-season produce, plus the freshest seafood, farm-sourced meats and poultry, plus a full international selection of premium deli goods. Make a visit to Paddy's this week and talk to a trader about what's in season and fresh today. Paddy's, home to Sydney's freshest food at value prices. Visit paddysmarkets.com.au.
Do you require professional help with a legal matter? At Bryden's Lawyers, our dedicated team are here to help you with all your legal needs. Whether you're dealing with a personal injury claim, family law matter, or property dispute, the experts at Bryden's Lawyers have the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process and put your mind at ease. Call Bryden's Lawyers today at 1800 848 848 or visit brydens.com.au. Bryden's Lawyers, who helps you in your time of need? We do.
Just like footy, when it comes to business, having the right team makes all the difference. And when you've got Prosper on your side, it's game on. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. They offer funding solutions up to $500,000. Enjoy an easy online application with funding possible within hours. Take control of your cash flow. Get Prosper on your team today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Cut through the background blah to hear more of the sounds you want to hear with Specsaver's advanced hearing technology.
Steps through, parts the seas. It's a try!
Book a hearing appointment with our audiology professionals for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
It's one of the best tries you'll ever see.
Always follow the directions for use. That's right, buddy. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries is Australia's most independently awarded air conditioner brand. And this year, they're proudly celebrating 25 years of designing quality products with unrivaled reliability, superior performance, and cutting-edge technology. So it comes as no surprise that they have the highest levels of customer satisfaction. I think what you're trying to say is, put your trust in Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, the experts in air.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
This is the Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. Prosper is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. PROSPA.
Welcome back. Triple M Sunday Sin Bin. All thanks to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small business. Visit prosper.com. James Hooper, James Graham, Blocker Roach, Ben Dobbin with you. It's now time for the Mitsubishi Triton's toughest player. Thanks to the all-new Mitsubishi Triton, nothing can frighten a Triton. For week 2 of the semi-finals, James Graham, who is your Mitsubishi Triton toughest player?
Yeah, look, this one may surprise you, actually. I've gone with Tommy Dearden, and not far behind him, Jake Clifford. There was a couple of key moments in that game against the Sharks. They came up with some desperate plays that I think kept the Cowboys within touching distance. The try-saving efforts were absolutely outstanding. Yeah, look, there's been some really tough players play, but in a beaten side, in terms of what they are supposed to bring to the game, those two, Dearden in particular, went above and beyond. And for that reason that they get my Mitsubishi Triton toughest player this week.
He's such a wholehearted player, Tommy Dearden. Like, he just competes on absolutely every single play. And I'm tipping you like him even more because he's got a little tinge of ginger.
A little tinge of ginger. Hey, can I ask a question?
Yes.
The toughest player week in and week out, what at the end of the season, if you've got 26 votes or something like that, do you
get a meat
Triton?
tray.
A what?
You get a meat tray.
Don't get a Triton.
No.
There's no Triton. No. Although, actually, Dobbo might have incorporated Fujitsu air conditioners into. I think there could be a Fujitsu air conditioner being installed in your house.
Why do we have to bring
to
up
the
that?
winner of the,
do they
of
do
the toughest player?
Split systems, ducted, you name it. That was another moment that I'd like to take back. I wonder just how much. I know they've got Ezra Mam, and I don't want to bunker down this, but geez, the Broncos must rue the fact that Dearden's not there, because the long-term halves pairing of Mam and Dearden, if they'd had them both, I mean, Dearden's he's played Origin since he left Brisbane. It's quite an amazing story how good he's become. Now, well done to the Cowboys for obviously entrusting him when he went there and developing him, and he's become good. But boy, oh boy, it's one that slipped through the gaps there.
You raise a great point, Dobbo, because I remember there was a period where when the Broncos got the wooden spoon, Tommy Dearden went some incredible stretch of games where he hadn't tasted victory. And there were question marks about, well, how much damage is that going to do? But he's gone up to North Queensland and he's just kicked goals ever since.
He's certainly been a very, very good player for them. Blocker, we've absolutely loved having you here today.
Gentlemen,
it's been,
my pleasure.
Just outstanding. And thank you to everybody that commented on YouTube today. It's the start of something. We'll be back next week with it. Obviously, James Graham, it was his brainchild, so we're all just following suit because he's real tech savvy.
Can I ask, just before we go, Blocker, how many years have you been working in radio? Just a natural, what is it, 3 decades?
Something like that. But I don't want to bring it up. I might get another gig. This is Triple M, a young station.
Yeah. Well, I remember
Mate,
Blocker.
you've killed
I
it.
watched
You've hit it out of the park.
He has. Sunday Sin Bin prelims on next week. You'll hear both games, the Saturday scrum. Download the Listener app, Footy Talk all week as we unpack it all. We'll be back again from 12 o'clock next Sunday from James Graham, James Hooper, Blocker Roach and Ben Dobbin. Until next time, it's bye for now. Talk all week as we unpack it all.